Hi y'all, it's Charlene from the Crafty Art Shack, and we're here today with another challenge video. So I'll tell you about that in just a few minutes, so let's get to the craft desk and get started. Alright, here we go with DIY number 1. Okay, for our first DIY, our dupe is going to be this Kirkland's bird. Now, they sell it for $12.99, but we're going to make ours for much less than that, so let's get on with the video and I'll show you what we're doing. Now for this first DIY, I got this little bird from Hobby Lobby with a broken tail, paid 50 cents for him. And I'm going to take a piece of my blinds that I use in a lot of my videos, and I am going to cut me a piece that's about the length of his tail. And we're going to fix this little bird. Then after we got the piece cut, we glued it in with some hot glue. And next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this air dry clay, get it all conditioned just like I want it. And I'm going to take one of my bottles of paint and roll this out and make it flat enough so that I can work it around this little piece of blind. And I'm just going to keep cutting off pieces and adding pieces until I get this to look the way I want it. I'm going to use my little tools that came from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to smooth them out. And what I'm trying to do is blend this piece into the rest of the bird and also create some little ridges for his tail feathers. And then the next thing I did was I covered it in Mod Podge, and now I'm going to take this black chalk paint from the Dollar Tree and I am going to go over this whole piece. Now there is a little foam bottom on the bottom of this, and I'm not going to mess with that. I'm going to leave it there so that it doesn't scratch any furniture. And I'm just going to paint this all black, and then we will see the rest of this at the final reveal. Alright, today's challenge is the Looks for Less 2.0. What we were supposed to do is go and find a store that had items that we liked, recreate them for less than what the store sells them for. And here are the pictures of our host and our guest host. Go check them out. Their links to their channels are in my description box below, and also the playlist are in the description box below. You guys go check them out because there's a bunch of awesome crafters and you sure don't want to miss this. Now here we go with DIY number 2. Alright, for this DIY, I saw this spring canvas art set for $169 on the Kirkland's website. Now, these 3 little birds are so cute, and when I saw them, Mom went and said, oh, that looks like some of those napkins I have. So I'm going to try to recreate this. Now, I didn't do 3 separate canvases. I did 1 canvas for mine. So the first thing I did is I got out my canvas and I coated it with some Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint to start with. Now you can use any white paint. I just used my chalk paint because that's what I already had out that I was using for another project. Now what I did is I took out the napkin that somebody had gifted me, and I'm going to remove the extra layers from it. Now the reason why I only made 1 canvas and not 3 separate canvases is because the size of my canvas is bigger than theirs and I only had 1 napkin. So we are going to recreate this. Now what I'm doing here is I'm getting out some rubbing alcohol, and I am going to separate these little birds into 4 little pieces and then make sure none of the edges are square. Now then the next thing I did is I figured out the arrangement that I wanted. I took out my fan brush because I like using that when I'm doing pieces that involve using tissue paper or napkins. And I'm going to glue or Mod Podge these birds down into this line where I can take and recreate some of those other branches and stuff and bring them together. And I know you're looking at it going, Charlene, that don't look like the picture. Okay, so what you see me doing here is I'm taking bits and pieces of that napkin, and I'm just kind of trying to connect the 2 bird patterns, but I don't want to see any straight lines. So I'm tearing little pieces of the napkin, putting them down, putting Mod Podge over the top of them, and smoothing them out. Now the fan brush works really good for smoothing out these little pieces. And then once I get them connected like this, then I'm going to take my paint. I've got Kelly green paint there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some brown, some blue, some gold. I'm going to take all different colors, and I'm going to get me some water out. I wish I had gotten this in frame more for you, but what I'm doing is I'm mixing all those colors at the same time and adding lots of water to my brush to create these little branches to make it look like the same color that is already there. And I'm just going to continue to add all the little pieces in here of the branches where I think it needs some more pieces. And then the next thing you see me doing is I'm laying out all the little leaves. Now, these leaves, if you just take and lay that brush down flat like I'm doing, you can create those little leaves with the point, and you don't even have to press very hard, and it matches the leaves that are in the actual painting itself. And then I'll go back and add some little touches. I'm going to add more of these little branches throughout the painting. Some of them I'll make darker, some of them I'll make lighter. And the reason why I do that is because it gives it an illusion of being a little bit further away and not as close up. And so here I go. I'm just adding more little leaves. Now I'm connecting that branch down at the bottom, and I'm connecting the branch up at the top to make it all look like it was one seamless piece. And then I'm just going to go in here and put some more paint down and do some blending so that the tree limb looks like it belongs there naturally. Now, after I get all of those in, now what you see me doing here is I'm creating some background, and you see I just put little squiggly lines down. Now my paint is really wet when I lay it down on here, and then I'm taking a paper towel and just blotting it, getting rid of any harsh lines. And if you get a harsh line, you go back over it just like I did there, and then you just tap with your paper towel. Now you want your paint to be really wet so you can move it on your canvas to fill in all these pieces and make it match this background that these birds are on. Now anywhere there's really white space on the canvas, you're going to want to put some of this down and then work in that paint into the canvas. And you see how I'm adding it in the white spots, and then I'm barely tapping to make it blend and smooth in, because I don't want it to look harsh like it does when I first put it down on the canvas. And see how you blend? You just take and dab it. And now you notice my paper towel has still got all the paint from where I've done the bottom. So you're just going to keep doing this until you get the whole painting filled in. And then here is what it looks like when we're finished. Now I did make sure I did the edges, and I am going to sign it. Don't ever do a piece of artwork without signing it. Even like your little bird statue we just did at the beginning and everything. I think an artist ought to sign their work, even on any craft that they do. Now here we go with DIY number 3. Alright, for this next DIY, I saw these braided jute rope napkin ring sets. A set of 4 was $19.99. So I thought, well, I can recreate this. So I got this jute cord from Temu, and I am going to braid me some little napkin rings. Now I started braiding with 3 strands, and I thought that looked too big, so I went and I took all 3 of those strands and broke it down where there's 2 strands in each part of the braid. And I am just going to braid this up. And then when I get to the end of it, and I taped it down to my desk so it would make it easy for me to work with, I'm going to take some of these little rubber bands, and I am going to put them on the ends and I'm making sure that it fits around my little bottle because I figured that's about how big the napkin ring needed to be. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some tacky glue just above the little rubber band and let that dry. And then the next thing I did is I decided I wanted to put some super glue on this. So I put it on the very ends and just dropped it in there so that it would be really secure down in there. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to stick this together. Now I end up taking a piece of painter's tape, and I do go in there and I put some hot glue in there for the immediate hold. And then I am going to take and put the painter's tape all the way around this. And yes, I am going to leave this painter's tape on there. So I'm going to hot glue it together. Then I'm going to wrap it with the painter's tape. Now you're going to want to make sure you wrap that pretty tight. Then the next thing I did is I added a little bit of hot glue. I cut me a piece of the smaller twine from the Dollar Tree of the Crafter Squares twine. And I am going to lay this down on the hot glue I just put down. Now when I come back over, I'm going to go wrap before that, and then I'm going to go over the top of the string that was just there, and I'm going to wind that nice and tight for this to cover the blue tape. Now I'm going to make sure I go all the way down and around, and we will see the rest of this at the final reveal. Now at this time we'd like to thank our subscribers. We love you bunches and we really appreciate you. Here we go with the final reveal. Alright y'all, we're back from the craft test, and then these turn out so cute. Now, if you like our content, subscribe, and that way you don't miss another episode of the Crafty Art Shack, because we're always doing something fun, always trying something new, and always doing crazy things. So you guys subscribe if you're not subscribed. It's free. And we'll see you in the next episode of the Crafty Art Shack. We'll see you later. Bye.
Didn't these turn out just adorable? Those little dupes, I think something I sure do. Alright y'all, we're back from the craft desk, and look at these. Isn't this absolutely gorgeous for a little tier tray sitter? And I love that rooster, and I love the chicken as well, and I'm sure that my daughter is going to love them too. So, you guys, if you like this content, subscribe. If you're already subscribed, thank you bunches. We love you bunches. And if you like this content, subscribe. Yeah, I said that already. Subscribe. I messed up. Alright y'all, we're back from the craft desk, and didn't these turn out absolutely gorgeous? I love this one, I love the rooster, and I love the little chicken, and I'm why did I do that? Alright y'all, give us that big thumbs up, and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you in the next episode. See you later, bye!